Translating the perfect tense. Okay, we've looked at the forms. Now let's look at how we translate this. What is the meaning of the perfect? The perfect is usually translated simply as the simple past in English. But really there's more to it than this. It's not just a tense, not just a form of the verb that has to do with time, but also something called aspect. The perfect is also expresses completed action, as opposed to the imperfect, which expresses incompleted action. So in the perfect, the speaker or the writer is viewing the situation as an outsider from the outside, where the beginning and the end are all in view. And the imperfect, by contrast, is when the speaker or the writer views the situation as an insider. So it's like ongoing action. Because of this, because of the tense aspect nature of this, or at least partially because of that, it can be translated different ways. You don't always want to translate it as a past, a simple past in English. However, the simple past is the predominant way that is translated. So that's your first choice. If it makes sense this way, just translate it this way. So if you have a word like nafal, means to fall, then you can simply nafal, looks a bit like English G. He fell. Simple past tense. He fell. Now sometimes your word is going to force you into a certain translation, the type of word it is. Other times the context is going to tell you. So you need to view this in a whole sentence to really know. Another way is present perfect. So if we take a look at a word like yarad. Yarad means to go down. In some situations, this could be translated, he has gone down. Not simply he went down, simple past, but he has gone down. He has gone down, which is a present perfect, meaning it is an action that has happened in the past at some point, but it has ramifications. It is still the case now, impacts the present. So that's another way that the perfect is sometimes used. Another way is a past perfect. This occurs especially when one verb follows another verb. Maybe I should have written this Hebrew out earlier. Let me see here. If we have halach ti. Hopefully I'm spelling this right. Halach means to walk or to go. And so if you remember your paradigm, this would be the 1CS. So I went, or let's say I went. Ki is because. I went ki because nafal. Okay. Nafal, the word we just had. I went because he fell. Well, this verb is following this, and he went, or I went, because means that this happened earlier. So a better way to translate this would be, I went because he had fallen. So in this case, you want to translate this probably as had fallen. That is an action that happened in the past that affected something a little sooner, but still in the past. So sometimes you want a past perfect, or in French, pluperfect, if you studied French. And then finally, at least for now anyway, sometimes you just want to translate as a present. And this is particularly true with statives, or with words of thinking or knowing or perceiving. Statives are words that describe a state of being. They're not acting on something else. And thinking words, for instance, if we have something like za Too many trails here. Let's see, zachar means to remember. Zacharta. Do you know this form? It's supposed to be a tav. So this here, remember what that is? 2ms. So zacharta. So you remembered, but remembering is a word of thinking. It's probably, or it can be simply you remember. It's just a statement in the present. You're using the perfect tense to express something in the present. You remember. Let me take a look. How about this here? Let's get a new screen here. Ani. We'll come to pronouns in the next chapter, but ani means I. Okay, so I. Zakan. Zakan means old. Zakanti. Zakanti is I. Okay. This is the pronoun here. I is here for emphasis. I was old. Well, it could be, but it can also be I am old. It's just a statement. It's a stative. So you don't always want to translate this as past. The context again is going to tell you whether he's talking about the past or whether he's just given a statement about the present. I am old. Or let's do one more. Ata. Ata means now, as in the adverb indicating present. Ata, now, and then yada is to know. Yada ti. What kind of Dagash is that? Yadati. Ata yadati. Now I know. This one really does not make sense to say now I knew. This here is telling you this adverb here, temporal adverb, is telling you that this is the present, and in fact you're using here a perfect tense. So how you translate it is going to depend on the lexeme. The word itself will sometimes force you one way or the other, or lean you one way or the other, and the context.